Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we're a couple of Americans that enjoy making videos about British culture. This YouTube channel documents our British journey, so if you enjoy learning about the UK and the differences there are between it and the US, make sure you subscribe. And before you ask, today I am wearing black in mourning for all of the subscribers that we're going to lose for making this video.
Yes, today we are going to be doing something that we have never done before, and we're going to be going through 8 things that we dislike about the UK.
This video has been a long time coming because we have made over 100 videos exploring the things that we love about the UK and the differences between the States and the UK. But now it's time to cross a bridge we've never crossed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Become some negative Nancys.
Honestly, coming up with this list was extremely difficult because we are huge fans of the UK. We love British culture, and so it's really hard for us to come up with things we dislike. But we're not quitters, and so we put our heads together and we came up with this list of things that we hate about British culture and life in the UK.
The first thing that we hate is the high cost of public transportation in the UK. I think one time we paid over £4 for a 2-stop journey on the tube.
On the tube, yes. Yeah, and we tested it actually. We made sure to tap on with our card, and for one trip, for one person, only 2 stops, £4, which is ridiculous. For comparison, we lived in South Korea for 2 years, and to ride their state-of-the-art metro system for over 2 hours costs about, what was it, to go to the airport?
To go to the airport was 5,000 won.
Okay, all right, so it was about £4 to ride a 2-hour journey on the metro. But in the UK, 2 stops, £4. Oh, and this is a cat,
hello.
By the way.
Say hello, cat.
Hi. This is Tess.
And this is a dog.
See, don't hate us, we have pets. Number 2, the second thing that we hate about the UK is how train companies love to price gouge. Basically, if you don't book your tickets a month in advance, they're going to increase by 50% when it comes to the week of your trip. This is something that bit us in the butt so many times in the UK because we'd be set to take a trip, but because of COVID, we weren't able to book our tickets in advance. We'd have to book them the night before or the week of at least. And this meant that what was originally a £20 or £40 trip, when we ended up booking it last minute, would be a £40 or £80 trip.
Also, just why are trains so damn expensive in the UK?
More expensive than France, than Germany, than anywhere in Asia.
Pretty much anywhere I've ever been, except for maybe here in the States.
Yeah, they're comparable to prices here in the States.
So question, do you hate price gouging as much as we do? And also, do you know why it happens? Another thing that we strongly dislike about the UK is that you can't immigrate there if you are a freelancer or self-employed.
And this is a major bummer because, as I'm sure you guys may have guessed, we would love to live in the UK if it was possible, but we are freelancers, we're self-employed, we work as copywriters for various companies, and that means that we can never immigrate to the UK, at least as things stand right now, because if someone wants to get a long stay working visa and eventually citizenship in the UK, it requires them to work for a British company. And so freelancers, tough luck.
This is one of the major reasons why we are considering immigrating to France instead of the UK.
France does allow freelancers and self-employed people like us to immigrate there without having to work for a French company. So UK, you better change the rules and make it legal for freelancers to get in, or you're gonna miss out on all of this hot
Glorious
stuff.
Goodness.
Fine, we'll pay our taxes to France. The next thing we dislike about life in the UK is that you guys don't have any screens on your windows. All right, yeah, this one's not as big of a deal as the last few, but it was a bit of a pain during the summer months to be staying in the UK and to not be able to have the windows open and a screen in place because it just meant all manner of bugs were coming in. And while the UK doesn't have nearly as many bugs as a lot of other places, there still are a fair amount of bugs, especially during the summer months. So that is something that we dislike about being in the UK, at least during the summer, no screens.
Also, you can't keep your cat inside if you open the window.
Yes, that was the scary thing too, yeah, because sometimes we would be doing house sitting in the UK, watching people's cats and dogs, and we had to be constantly paranoid to never leave a window open, because if we did, the cat would escape. In the States, we don't have that problem because we can have a window open and there's a screen in place and the cat can't get out.
To be fair though, this isn't just a British problem, this is kind of a Europe-wide problem, which is why we had a bat encounter in Germany, I suppose.
That was so stupid.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Germany have screens on their windows when they're Did I say windows?
Instead of windows.
Their windows when their mosquitoes are this big and they have rabid bats. Last year we stayed in Germany for a while and a bat flew in the window. Long story short, we had to get a lot of rabies shots. But if there'd been a screen on that window, that wouldn't have happened.
The next thing that we dislike about the UK is the high cost of living. Like, I mean, seriously, when compared to other European countries like France, Germany, Spain, Italy, British cost of living is significantly higher. And for us Americans, this is aggravated even more by the dollar to pound ratio. Like currently at the moment, £1 is worth $1.33 or $1.32. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah, basically for every pound item that we buy in the UK, like if we go to Poundland.
If we go to Poundland.
I go to Poundland all the time, but you know, let's say an American goes to Poundland and they buy a thing for £1. It's not just £1, it's $1.30. So we're basically paying 30 cents more for every pound.
Everything's increased by a third.
Yeah, and it's not like things in the UK are cheaper, so they have the same price point. An Americano in the UK will cost about £3, and an Americano in the States will cost $3. So they're the same in terms of, like, I don't know what you call that, but they're priced the same.
The number looks the same,
yeah.
But it's a lie.
It's a lot more in the UK. So all that to say, the high cost of living in the UK is something that we dislike because it makes it very difficult to stay in the UK for extended periods. High cost of living, it's a bummer.
It is, but you've used the word bummer twice in this video so far, and it doesn't have the same meaning in the UK.
Oh, right! Speaking of things that, we could tag that one onto the list. Words having different meanings, but I do love that part.
Yeah, I would put that on the things we love, not things we hate,
Yeah.
because it's really funny
It makes
and fun.
it really exciting. Like this one time we were driving down the road with a British friend, and well, I was driving down the road with a British friend, and we were looking for Grace, who had gone on ahead of us and was walking somewhere down the road. So we're driving along looking, where's Grace, where's Grace? And then I see Grace off in the distance, and you know, without thinking, I just yell, there she is, I see Grace's pants! Because Grace was wearing bright white trousers. But I yelled at the top of my lungs, I see Grace's pants! And yeah, my British friend burst out laughing, and then I immediately burst out laughing upon realizing what I'd done. I've humiliated myself. Next up, another thing that we dislike about being in the UK is that public restrooms are really hard to find. And let's just compare this with other countries, like France, where there's public restrooms, you know, those big
There's big toilet thick
awful
cubicle.
public restroom boxes all over Paris.
Yeah.
But you know, if you need a place to go, at least you have an option. In the US, where there's lots of public restrooms, lots of places to step in and find a toilet if you need to. In most countries in Asia, like Japan and South Korea, every subway station has a bathroom. So all you have to do is find a metro station, boom, public restroom. But in the UK, most stations don't have public restrooms. Actually, I don't think I ever saw a station.
I saw one.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
She saw one. But there have been a number of times where we were stranded somewhere in Soho or other places in the UK, like Leeds, and could not find a public restroom anywhere.
And so you just had to despair and die, as the White Witch would say.
Or do as the Parisians do and drop your trousers in the middle of the street.
The birds threw it to you. One guy took a dump behind a dumpster, remember?
Oh, yes. So when we were in Leeds, we were very excited to go see this beautiful shopping street. We walked around the corner, and this gentleman was darting out of an alley that we had to walk through. And when we walked through the alley, we were able to quickly discern that the gentleman had taken a massive steaming turd right there in the alley. So,
Oh my.
yeah, I don't blame him. He was forced to do it because the UK doesn't have any public restrooms.
But still, that was so gross.
It was terrible. But it did make me feel a little less guilty when I contributed my own turd to the pile.
Another thing we dislike about the UK is the smoking. I don't think you know how to smoke. While we do know that the percentages of people who smoke are similar in the US and the UK, We found that in the UK, smoking is a lot more in your face, so to speak.
It's true, despite the fact that in both the UK and the USA, about 15% of the population smokes. In the UK, it is a lot more prevalent, and I think this is due to laws and just the way the general public views smoking. For example, in the US, smoking is seen as a very dirty thing. Most people, the people who don't smoke, usually hate smoking and will tell people off for smoking near entrances of buildings, around children, etc. And there's a lot of laws in place that make people smoke at a distance. So in Washington State, where we're from, there's a law that says you can't smoke within 25 feet of any building entrance. So whether it be an apartment building or a restaurant or a grocery store, you have to be at least 25 feet away from the entrance to smoke. Whereas in the UK, I don't think such a law exists because we saw numerous instances where we'd be going into a shop or a cafe or a restaurant and there's someone right outside the door puffing away. Yeah. And so the smell really gets inside. And so there were a lot of shops or cafes that we went to where it honestly smelled like someone was smoking inside the building, just because they were smoking right outside and it was coming right inside. But of course, this is just based on our own personal experience in the UK. So if you're British, make sure you let us know what you think down in the comments. The next thing that Americans tend to dislike about the UK is that British people are difficult to read. This is because British body language is different than American body language. And another thing is that the words British people use to communicate boredom and disinterest and things like that are also different than the words that we use. For example, if an American is going on at length telling an incredibly boring story, they will probably feel encouraged to continue telling their story when the British person continues to say, "How interesting." If a British person tells you, "Interesting," it means
that's not interesting at all. Also, Brits tend to be more indirect and imply what they mean rather than stating it directly, which can confuse Americans.
And another thing that makes British people very difficult for Americans to read is that you guys really like your sarcasm and irony, but in a way that's a little bit different than American sarcasm and irony. Americans are very sarcastic and ironic. Believe it or not, we do have a strong sense of sarcasm, but it is different than the way Brits do it. And so there is a little bit lost in translation there, which leads to Americans finding British people very difficult to read and understand. As we've mentioned in previous videos, we ran into this British people being difficult to read problem a couple of times on our first trip to the UK. For example, someone telling us, "You should pop around sometime," and then us thinking they're being genuine and popping around and then realizing maybe they weren't being genuine when they said to pop around sometime. But fortunately, this is mostly a non-issue now. I like to think that we're pretty good at detecting what British people mean when we talk with them.
Yeah, I think so. And also we've gotten a lot better at not getting offended, because I think that's another sarcasm irony difference between the UK and USA, is that Americans may find British sarcasm and irony to be offensive.
The whole taking the piss.
Yeah, if it's like directed at them or at their expense. In America, I don't really think we do that quite so often.
It does happen, but not nearly to the scale or the frequency as it does in the UK. But I think we're good now, so if you want to take the piss out of us down in the comments, go ahead.
And now I'll turn the conversation over to you guys. What did you think of our list? Is there anything that you would add? Did you agree with our points? Did you disagree with them? Let us know down in the comments. And a special thank you to our Chuffed Virtuoso patrons, Andrew McHenry and Alan Hughes. We appreciate you both.
And if you would like to support the channel and help us come up with new video topic ideas, participate in live streams, and get access to multiple bonus videos per week, make sure you come over and join us on Patreon. Link to that is down in the comments. And without any further complaints about the UK, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Laters.